Good morning children, and warm greetings to all the teachers. A happy English language day to all. I welcome you all to the TSAT live session English. And very recently we have a discussion on the question paper. We discussed every question right from the first to the last one, how to answer them, how to get a good score. Now let's discuss in general what will be in the question paper and what will be in the textbook, and so that you can get good score. And to discuss all these, I have with me Asha Kumari from GHS Adagutta, and next to Asha, Syed Irshad Ali, GMS Chiguru Mamidi, Karimnagar, and next to Irshad is Mrs. Rajeshwari, SRG, Medchal, Malkajgiri. So, Asha, children will get comprehension passages which carries a major portion in their question paper. So, that means nearly half of the marks contains this comprehension passage, and usually our children will do mistakes. And can you please clarify them, what type of questions will they get and how to write the answers in order to get good score?
Sure, ma'am. First of all, welcome to English Fraternity and my dear students to today's session. So, as ma'am said, we are going to focus on reading comprehension, which has a lot of weightage in our question paper. If we look at the question paper, I believe you might have a quite good idea about the question paper. 60 marks for part A and 20 marks for part B. So, out of 80 marks, the more weightage is given for reading comprehension passage. So, your focus should be on reading comprehension passage. Now, if you look at the question paper, the first reading comprehension passage is exclusively taken from our A readings of our reader, and the second passage is from our B or C readings of our reader. And we also have study skills, which we call it as non-verbal reading comprehension passage, which carries 8 marks. And also we have a passage or a poem, unseen poem under part B, which comprises of 5 marks. So, in total 37 marks are allotted for reading comprehension passage. So, it's very important for you to secure good marks in reading comprehension passage. So, now what tips and tricks you have to follow to get good marks in reading comprehension passage? So, when you get a question paper, my suggestion is first go through the questions first, then go to the passage. It will help you to stay focused on what are you asked to write in the examination. So, first go through the questions, then go back to the passage. So, you have to read the passage twice. First one, when you read, you go for general meaning. The second one, the main ideas, what are the details, you have to go for the details in the passage. So, this is how you have to read the passage. While reading the passage, you try to make the meaning of the passage and underline the actions that are taking place in the passage. So, that will help you to answer the questions very well. Now, if you see the passage, so the pattern of the questions which comes under reading passage is completely different. You are not going to get a factual questions only. So, just have a glance, what sort of questions are we going to get? So, we are going to get factual questions, inferential questions, open-ended questions, analytical or critical thinking questions, personalized questions, cause and consequence questions, vocabulary in context and applied vocabulary type of questions are all possible under reading comprehension passage, whether it may be first reading comprehension passage or second reading comprehension passage or a comprehension passage which we are going to get in part B also. So, all these types of questions are possible. Now, if we look at the previous papers and all, the scope for factual questions is very less when compared to the other type of questions. If we see, even if a factual question is given, a factual question is what you directly find the answer in the passage, right? So, even if you have a factual question, there will be a question within the question which may be of inferential kind or analytical or open-ended type of question. Now, moving on to inferential questions you don't find answer directly in the passage, they are hidden in the passage. So, you have to read between the lines and get such type of answers. And moving on to open-ended questions, where you have to think, that is according to your perspective, you would answer such type of questions. And moving on to analytical and critical thinking, you need to guess, think critically to answer such type of questions. That is, you have to analyze the entire passage. It's not just lifting the sentences from the passage and write. Okay. Then moving on to personalized questions, you have to imagine yourselves into that situation and answer such type of questions. And cause and consequence type of questions like what happened, what are the results, like that, such type of questions are also possible. Vocabulary in context, this question is possible under part B, where we have options. That is, they may take one word and ask you to expand that word, the meaning of that word. So here also you have to write the meaning of the word contextually. A word may have different meanings, but contextually you have to write the meaning of that particular word. In a similar way, we have applied vocabulary, wherein we need to apply vocabulary to describe the character or feelings, describe the character of Nick. So where you have to use the words to describe the character. Such type of questions are possible. Now let us move on to a passage. We will have a glance on how the children usually answer the passages. So if we go through the children's writings, we find they just lift the answers from the passage, right? So they don't write the answers in their own words. Actually, the criteria of examiner is to test your language skills rather than your content. Unlike other subjects, content is given priority. But in English, only language skills. If you look at the weightage given for, suppose you have 3 marks question, right? For that, the first 1 mark is awarded for your contextual relevance. 1 mark is for your grammaticality, where you write well-formed sentences, and 1 mark is awarded for your punctuations. That is, 2 marks are given for language skills only. So in language, only language skills are tested more priority is given for language skills. Now if you look at the passage here, it's a passage we have taken from journey lesson. I looked at father's bare feet. Okay, moving on to the questions. If you see, I noticed this for the first time. I hadn't noticed that the road was uneven. I didn't have to sense I was wearing a pair of hunting boots. If you look at this question, children, do you find answer to this question directly in the passage? No. What you usually do is, you will just read the first sentence, noticed, you'll try to search that word in the sentence, and you'll lift the sentence and write as it is. So usually what answer children will do, we will see. See, what you do is, I noticed this for the first time, you will ignore this, but you will only catch hold of the word notice and lift the sentence and write as it is. But it's an inferential question. You need to know what this is referred in the passage, and here this refers to the condition of father's feet, bare, cracked and resembling those of an elephant. Why did the narrator notice it before? Why he didn't notice is, here 2 questions are there. There is a question within question. So when you answer such type of questions, for first question you have to write in 1 paragraph, and for the second question also you have to change the paragraph and write. The narrator had not noticed it before because he was always wearing shoes, that is hunting boots. So he never paid attention to the uneven road or the hardship of walking barefoot. His own comfort shielded him from observing his father's suffering until that moment. So children, if you observe, do you find these sentences exactly in the passage? No. So you have to write by your own. So you have to modify the sentences, understand thoroughly the passage, then only you will be able to answer such type of questions. So never ever try to lift the sentences as it is from the passage and write. This is an inferential question. Now moving on to the next part of the question, what was the narrator's father's attitude towards spending money on new shoes? So do you find this answer in the passage, children? No. Directly you don't find. So you have to understand the passage and write. See, the narrator's father showed a reluctant and frugal attitude, that is economical, towards spending money on new shoes. This reveals that he is simple and selfless, prioritizing his son's needs and saving over his own comforts. So he is giving priority to his son's savings rather than his own comfort. This is analytical, open-ended question. Next, ma'am. Yeah. What emotions might the narrator have experienced when he saw his father's cracked feet for the first time? So, you need to guess his emotions and write such type of answers. These are analytical and critical thinking. So, you need to analyze the passage thoroughly, then you will understand the answer here. See, what emotions the narrator might have felt sad and guilty when he saw his father's cracked feet for the first time. He realized the hardship his father had gone through walking barefoot and felt compassion and desired to help him. So, this is how you have to answer the questions. Moving on to the next part of question, it is a personalized question wherein you need to imagine yourselves into that situation and answer the question. So, if you were the narrator, would you give an old pair of shoes to your father? Why not? So, you may say that, no, I will not give an old pair of shoes, I will buy. Or you may also say that, yes, I give an old pair of shoes because already I am in debts, so I may not afford to buy. So, either of your answers will be correct. Okay? But the thing is, you have to well frame the sentences and should not go out of the text, context and write. Okay? So, what are you asked to write? Focus on that. Don't beat around the bush. Okay? Correct, exact points, whatever the question is asked, you have to answer those questions directly without beating around the bush. So, when you do this, you will the marks, 3 marks out of 3 marks, for 1 mark is for contextual relevance, 1 is for your grammaticality without any errors if you write, and 1 mark is for your punctuation, conventions of writing, capitalization, and your punctuation is given priority 1 mark. So, if you keep in view all these 3 things and write your answer, then sure you are going to get 3 on 3 marks. Then moving on to second passage, questions are intact, like you will have all inferential, analytical, open-ended questions. But the thing is, 8th question, there you have true or false statements, like you have to pick 3 true statements. So, you usually write more than 3, right, thinking that you are in a confused state and you think that, okay, if I write 1 more sentence, what happens? No, it's not like that. You have to write only 3 sentences and write the alphabet and write the complete sentence. Okay. Then moving on to study skills, where you may get a pie chart, bar graph, a table, bibliography, everything is possible there. And here, you should not give single word answers. So, most of the children, they will give only single word answers, but no, you have to write the in sentence, then only it fetches you 2 marks. Okay. Then, in detail study skills, Irshad sir will deal. Then we will move on to part B, unseen poem. So, unseen poem or passage, both are possible here. Okay. Then, if you go through the unseen poem, you have to focus on like tone of the poem, mood of the poem, theme of the poem, literary devices if any. So, you have to focus on these areas. And coming to the tone of the poem, it's always on the poet side. So, what is the tone of the poet? That you should understand, whether it's authoritative, okay, whether it's pleasing, that you have to understand and write. And mood is always on the reader's part. So, after reading the poem, how did you feel? Whether it was pleasant, joyful, sad, okay. In this way, you have to understand and write. And you will also get a word meaning in the poem. So, what is the contextual meaning? That you have to answer. The thing is, whenever you answer reading comprehension passages, you have to focus on what are you asked to write in the examination, not more than that. Okay, avoid writing single words, and if you have any, after reading, first thoroughly you read to make the meaning of the passage. Second, focus on the details, and if you are unable to do, again for accuracy, you can also once again go and read the passage. So, children, this is how you need to answer reading comprehension passages.
Okay. Children, you might have understood what Asha has said. So, very immediately after giving your question paper, after taking your question paper, don't rush to write the answers. Go through the question paper twice or thrice, because you have ample time to write the answers. And if you don't understand some of the words in the passage, don't worry. You can understand the passage with your second reading or third reading contextually. And for writing the answers, as Asha discussed, anyway, the answers for the factual questions you will have in the passage itself, but for the remaining questions, whether inferential, open-ended, analytical, whatever the type of questions, what they are asking, as Asha said, narrator, in the question is asked that what is the narrator's feelings, and what you will generally do, I. So, because there is I in the passage, you will write as it is. You pick up that particular sentence and write it up in your answer booklet. So, the question is, the question is being asked at the narrator's perspective, at the narrator's side. They are not asking you. So, when the reflective questions comes, that's up to you. How you write, you have to put yourself in that particular position and write the answer. Even for open-ended questions, you can write positively or negatively, but you have to defend yourself. Why you are accepting that? Why you are denying that? So, by doing all these, you can get good marks, because as Asha said, 37 marks is half of the portion of the marks. So, please do concentrate on that. Try to get good marks. And as we know, English never tests our memory. It tests our language skills. So, try to write in a apt manner, grammatically well-formed sentences, and definitely you will get good marks. And moving to the next one, let's discuss what are the next points, how to write, how to answer the remaining questions. Yeah, Irshad, can you please elaborate that?
Yeah, sure. At the outset, I would like to wish our entire students and English fraternity out there happy language day to everyone from our end. So, having said that, ma'am, yeah, absolutely. Language is not just about memory. It is about how you write and testing your language skills. And most of the times, many people feel that language is all about sentences, reading, comprehending. When you say comprehension, it's not just about passages, but it's also about understanding the advertisements, understanding a poster, understanding tables. So this is where we get one of those bits wherein I must say that it's a kind of easy to answer, but at the same time you need to be little cautious while writing the answer. That's where our non-linguistic input comes. It could be in a table or a pie chart or a bar graph, or even it may be bibliography and histogram. These all will come. So one among them will come. So what I feel, all the students, I think this is a win-win situation here. It is, if you find in the entire English paper, if you ask anyone, they will feel that this is where I can score 8. But at the same time, it's for all the students who do well, who are good at writing, and those who are average students, and also to the students who are teacher supportive students. For them, this is very important. Here, if you can score 8, you need to write 4. And 4 out of 4, and every question will have, most of the questions, first question will be, a kind of factual, even not factual, to be frank. If you read it properly, it will be there in your question paper. What is the bar graph about, like that? What is the pie chart is all about? So 1 mark you can get, and then it's not just one question, there will be one more question. So that's why just now the way my friend discussed about comprehension, I always suggest one formula to all the students. Remember, students, follow 3, 2, 1. You have ample time to answer questions. So comprehension, end of the day, it's all about comprehension. May it be passage or a table. So read thrice, okay? 3 times go through a passage. Twice try to comprehend between the lines. And last, finally, you will be writing once. So make sure you do this, thematical way, so that you can answer everything. So let's see one of those examples, what actually this, section tests. It really tests not any memory or any even grammar, but it will ask you to check your understanding through tables and bar graphs. Excuse me. So let's see that. So read the title, because as I told you, first question will have title, because title also will be asked. So what is the data about? It could be anything depending on your pictographical interpretation. How do you interpret the data? That's what here it will be asked. It's not just about English paper. I'm telling you, if you can do this well, you can easily score in your science and also social subjects. So that's why English helps all other subjects. Okay. So you people have to understand this. It's, read one, score in 2 other subjects or 3 other subjects. So it's all win-win situation for you students. And then step 2, identify the categories. What sort of, you need to understand what items are being compared. Let's say there may be in a pie chart, it's about spending or hobbies of students, or it could be how many runs scored by a team in this particular year, or a player scored. So any bar graph you might see in cricket, or how much amount has been invested on military by India. So these all comes under these kind of data representation. So second one is identifying the categories, how many categories are there. And next you need to check, observe the numbers carefully. This is really matters. So don't just, hurry in just writing, thinking that, oh, it's just there. No, you just need to be little careful here, identify and then observe the numbers carefully. And finally, you need to compare. Because here there will be one question depending on comparison, which is highest, which is the least, and you need to understand these things. Highest, least, together means you need to add. Okay, what is the difference means you need to subtract. So this is again mathematical kind of language it will be used. Language will be used in mathematics also. So if you understand this, you can also do well in maths also. So start from here in English only, and finally you will conclude. And you need to write 2 to 3 meaningful observations. You need to observe, and 2 to 3 sentences you will write in the last. Though we have 3 almost straight away you can see and write, but 1 will be depending on your understanding. Again, as earlier we mentioned, it's not about memory, but it's about testing your language skills. So last question will be a kind of open-ended, or knowing your side of notion about that particular topic. So let's see one of the examples where you can. So this is a table. So you can get a detailed table. So there will be lots of things. Next, ma'am. So you have to go through every table. So the question could be like this, what is the table about and how many engineering trades. So I've taken this from the last year's paper. So if you go through, you can. So the fourth one here, a boy, look at that 11th question. A boy named Ramu has studied up to 8th class and passed. What are the trades of ITI he is eligible to apply for? So then you need to see in the table 8th class first, and then how many trades are there. Could you go back, ma'am, once? So here, if you find there will be, 2 8th class passed will be there, 4th and 5th, and then you can write dressmaking. So next one we can see in another example. So like that it will be there. And last question is, in what way the trades with codes, whichever code is there, you have to go through that, are similar and explain. Here you need to use your language and write. So here language skills be used in the 12th question. Let's see in another example. These are the pie charts. I'll just take you through. Please, ma'am, next one. So these similar questions you will get, you might have done here. A bar graph, you see that. Here it's a bar graph is shown where performance of language development skills among students has been tested or inferred over here. So you need to study that, and clearly it's given reading skill, translation skill, vocabulary skill, writing skills and speaking skills. You might be writing, all these exams on, we all writing all these days, oral reading fluency, then also conversation. So such kind of paragraph you may say. So in this paragraph, let's see what kind of questions can be asked. How can you answer? Let's see one example. Because as I said earlier, this is where you can score more. And next one, please. So what is the bar graph about? And then what skills have been discussed? So you can easily identify and write down. So bar graph is about whatever first line is there. So next one, ma'am, please. And then other skills combined. Here, what are the other skills combined with writing? So then you have to make sure what are the other skill are there, how much it is, how many students performed them. So you have to calculate there. Number should be, seen very carefully. What are the 2 skills? Students performed almost the same. You have to say it's not same, but almost the same, nearer, approximately same. So then you have to find out 2 things and you have to write. Fine. And then you will find out another area. These kind of 4th one, which is your favorite area, which is the one. So the 4th one will be most of the times testing your language skill. So this is how, if you can practice more, and if you want to write you can easily go through that and easily score 8 marks. I'm telling you again, it's easy, but at the same time, don't slip. It's like, losing a match against, Minos in World Cup. Okay, but at the same time, don't take any bit easily. So you will be hurt more than any other bits than if you make mistake over here. So let's see at the same time the next bit where you can have to answer. So this is about 12 bit, ma'am. So right after that, so this is how you'll answer. So we have discussed. After that, there will be another bit where you will be tested with your grammar. Okay, transformation of sentences. When we talk about transformation of sentences, there are two ways. One is basic transformation and other one is synthesis. When we talk about basic transformation, understand that voice, reported speech, degrees of comparison and conditionals might be asked. But at the same time, I would like to reiterate to all the fraternity and the students, nowhere it will be given that change into passive voice or write the indirect speech of the given question. No, the question itself will be given rewrite as directed. So the minimum part will be done from question paper setter only. If there is I ate an apple, rewrite the question, an apple, and the dash will be there. So your object is already there. You need to understand this. So we are helping you out in other way. So, but at the same time, you have to make sure that you practice more. So there will be 3 which are direct transformation kind and 3 will be from synthesis of sentences, in which to, not only but also, so that, many other things will come. So we will check one of those passage and it will not be asked in isolation. Here in the 13th bit, it will be given as a small story or a small passage wherein all these questions are possible. Okay. So read that passage carefully and read the question properly so that you need to understand what are you going to answer. There could be a, degree of comparison, but it will not be mentioned change into positive degree or negative degree. You have to understand what degree is given over there. If it's a superlative degree, you need to understand which model it is and then you have to rewrite it according to the model and according to the question asked. So that will test your skills of language, but also it will also test your grammar. It's not tough, to be frank, because, and one more thing I would like to reiterate is there are 6 questions and most of the times maybe you all go with 4 into 2 marks. We have to attempt 4. No, it's always suggestible and we all fraternity member, all teachers might have told you. If not, I request all the teachers to tell students to attempt all 6. Even 1 or 2 here or there, they can make mistake. You can cover up with the other one. Because out of 6, even if you make mistake 1 or even 2, you will be, able to cover up with 4 to 8, you will get full marks. So all these marks matters. So that's why let's see one of the bits or examples wherein you can answer them. So this type of question, as I said, it will be tested. Your grammar knowledge will be tested, sentence correction and understanding the linkers, which is again part and parcel of comprehension. It's not just about, as madam told, most of the marks, it's not about marks. Entire English language is about comprehension, meaning making. So this is what we need to understand. So some way or the other, your language will be tested. How well you can make the meaning, that will be tested. And finally, how will you write? So let's try in one of those passages. Here is a small example wherein, once upon a time, there was a man, he owned a goose. So here, understand the number 1 in the 13th bit is a completely one item. In that item, 6 questions will be there. So in that first one is there and second one is also there. The goose laid a golden egg every day. He sold those eggs and earned a lot of money. That is the third one. Understand, wherever your bit number is given, that is your question, and we have clearly mentioned, and it will be clearly mentioned, underlined 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. So you can read it on, you can find out. Let's see one of those questions. So the question will be asked in such a way, combine the sentence using who. Here you have to understand relative class, when to use who is used with person or thing, which is used with person or thing, that will be explained by your teacher. So you have to understand. So use who, and once there was a old man who owned a goose, like that you underline. So in other way, you need to take out the full stop and add who. Sometimes it will come at the beginning, sometimes it will come in the between. So you need to understand this, and then rewrite the sentence beginning with a golden egg. Here he has given a golden egg. We have not asked active voice or passive voice. So you have to understand a golden egg. So how, whether it's in a past tense, find out which tense, and next find out which helping verb is used, and then you need to complete the other part. So this way you have to understand this is how the questions will be asked. You need to read them carefully and you need to attempt them. Madam, next one please. At the same time there will be, no, can I have that previous one? So 4 more questions will be there. Previous one, next one. So not only but also, and also beginning with though. So these are the synthesis. So it's not guaranteed that these all are the areas which will be covered. Remember, all the grammar areas which have been taught from the class 6th till 10th will be tested. Understand? May it be no sooner. In 9th class we have, in the first bit, no sooner than, or hardly, or scarcely, when. So these kind of questions might also ask. So everything which relate to your grammar will be tested. There is no, close kind of thing. There will be one indirect speech or there will be voice compulsory. No, nobody gives you that surety that. And at the same time, one more thing I would like to bring to your notice. In other last time when we had a session, most of the fraternity members were asking, ma'am, that why are we giving 2 marks for question tag? Yeah, question tag is also one of those grammatical aspects. But what I feel is for giving 2 marks, yeah, even I think people are considering, we might not know. So go through that, practice them, but there is no surety whether which one will come, but all will be tested. That keep in mind, everything need to be practiced and you need to answer them accordingly and make sure answer all the 6 to be safe side. So one last thing after this, ma'am. Yeah, grammar editing. So this is the most difficult as people feel, but to be frank, it's not difficult. We talk about structure. English language, we change the structure, but we don't change the meaning. So that's what we need to understand. It's not about memorizing things, it's about saying the things in different way. So and finding out, again, when you talk about editing also, you have to keep that in mind. Editing also part and parcel of comprehension. If you comprehend a text properly, if you read the lines properly, if you know what comes next, what is the PNG, person, number, gender, what is the verb, subject, verb agreement, and when an article will be used, what article be used between which sound. If it's a vowel sound, then it will go with an and there are some exceptions. And at the same time, when to use, here in this editing part, entire grammar, it's an amalgamation of all grammar aspects. May it be conjunction, preposition, prepositional phrases, okay, and the tense, structure, verb, these all will be tested. So the more practice you'll do, the better you will become. But at the same time, when you read them clearly in the text, look, when you read properly, you will be able to write 3 marks answer. At the same time, you will be able to do these kind of, editing parts also. We will see with one example also. Okay. Let's see, children. Yeah, here we have to make sure that when you are going through editing part, understand what are the areas or how you have to go about the business. That's first step. Read the whole sentence slowly. Okay. And at times, few sentences will be long, but you need to understand. That's why we are telling, read the sentence slowly. You can clearly understand whether that sentence has an error or not. Check subject and verb, as I said earlier, and check articles and pronouns, and look for unnatural word order. So, okay, at times word order will be here and there. We will see that such kind of examples also. So, the more you read properly, the better you will able to answer. Let's try one small example over here. So, I would like to tell you one thing, that don't treat it as or think about editing is tough job as such. No, it is one of the easiest part if you practice more and if you go through the lines properly. So here is a passage wherein remember, first sentence will not have any error, and that's why understand, dear children, the number 22, when the number is given 22, from there only your sentence starts. I reiterate once again, first sentence till full stop or whatever, there won't be any error, because as per the standard format, error will not be given in the first sentence. So you have to check 22 where number starts, from there only the sentence starts. In that sentence there will be an error, one error, and you need to find out the error and then you need to rewrite it complete sentence. You have to, at times students are doing just they are finding out error and they are writing correct answer. If it's A, they are writing A and dash and. That's not gonna help you. Okay, most of the times if you want to score more, you have to rewrite the complete sentence, because in your answer sheet prescribed space is given. So please write. So let's see one example. So this is the passage wherein you might have read this. Now the king immediately gathered the large army. So let's see, ma'am, one by one. So the king immediately gathered a large army. That's an error, because when we are talking about something for the first time, we don't use definite article the. So we all know that. So you need to see that whether it's a mistake over there, article or not, and then you will find out easily. And the second one, but he realized that it was not strong enough. Actually, it's enough strong given in the passage. So it's a word order, strong enough. You need to understand strong enough, the words which go with enough, prepositional phrases like that. So you need to understand the correct word order. And then the third one, he needed a hero to their family is given in the question. You might have seen. It's not their family. He is talking about his army. Like, we all talk about one should love his country. No, one should love one's country, because it's, proper pronoun should be used along with it. Here, he needed a hero to lead his army. So, proper pronoun, which pronoun should be used, you need to check that. And where could he find such a brave man was given. At times, plural forms also will be given. So, everything. So, a man is there. And then the last one was also there. You need to check that. At times, the conjunction will also be checked. So, overall, you have to keep one thing in mind is editing is not tough as long as you don't practice. Editing is so easy. The more you practice, the better results you will get, the more marks you will get. So, having said that, that's what. All the best for your examinations, and go about the business with full confidence.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, as Irshad said, for the very recently, as already I told you, we discussed the question paper. Again, we are discussing the same. You might have thinking that why this is happening, and you are very closer to exams, just 29 days to go. So, that's why we are taking again to get good marks. And as Irshad said, the study skills. So, they don't test your knowledge. They test your interpretational skills. They test your analytical skills. So, concentrate on that. So, what they are asking, they don't test even your mathematical ability. Though it's linked with that, sometimes they may ask you what's the percentage and what's the number, but it's not questioning that mathematical ability. It's purely test your interpretational skills. And when it comes to the next grammar part, the more you practice, the more score you get. So, don't worry about that. And as Irshad said, sometimes unnatural, odd, we think that they is playing. We know that they is. It will not be like that. So, if you practice, definitely you will get a good score. And let's move on to the next part. That's where you can get a very good score. Discourses. Yeah. Rajeshwari, could you please do that?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'm really waiting for this, because even children, they keep waiting. The moment they get the question paper, they'll turn back and they'll see what kind of discourse is being given. And good morning once again, dear teachers and students. Happy English Language Day we are celebrating. No, this is a form of celebration where we are questioning our question paper and we are transacting, and this we all feel fortunate to talk to you all statewide students and teachers on this very special day. So, coming to our context, we are talking about creative expressions. What is creative expression? Whatever we think, that is creative. Yes or no? There is no concrete language fixed for creativity, because creativity or variety is the spice of life, and also the creative expression is the spice of any, or the variety. It's a variety. This form gives the pleasure to the evaluator as well as the student who writes. So, here what is supposed to be done in order to score good marks, high percentage of marks? Here, children, make sure you attempt all the 3 questions. 3 questions? Yes. 1 question for 10 marks with internal choice, and 2 questions of 5 marks. They are compulsory. All the 2 questions you have to write. See, most of the times what students do is, what you people do is, you focus on reading comprehension, which is well and good. You keep on writing, reading the passages. Okay. The moment you get the objective paper, You go to objectives and you try to fill all those blanks and all, because they are readily available answers and all. But so taking more time, spending more time on comprehension and vocabulary, of course, because it's also needed, but you will be hurried when you come to this creative part, where your thoughts are to be provoked, your ideas are to be generated as per the question. Then at that point of time, you will be running short of time and you'll scribble something, and which makes a little bit harder for you to score a good one. Okay, so here are some tips. The good news is we can do and we can overcome that thing. How to do? So you focus on the question. So as we all say, language is not learned isolated. Like it is an integrated manner of learning. When you are able to comprehend any passage, any unknown text, you will be able to do and understand everything. What Asha ma'am said, what moderator ma'am has said, what our sir has said, everybody is saying that you have to make a meaning. You have to understand. What is that you have to understand? Understand the question given in the paper. So how to divide that question? So sometimes when we look at the question, we may not be able to trace what has to be written. So how? Here, I am here to help you how to divide the question, the concept of the question. Okay. Now, for any creative expression discourse, first, a context is given. Later, task is asked. So, in order to help you how to draft that, some input is given. So, what is the order? Context, task and input. So, you try to identify them. What is the context? So, when you understand the context, automatically you will connect to your textbook lessons. Okay. Then, try to understand the task. Task means question. What is that I have to write? Whether I know this or not. Whether I have practiced this or not. That's why I'm telling children, take enough time, spend enough time to think about the question, to think about the answers. Because this is where you have to bring your words onto the paper. It's not that what you have in your mind matters. It's what you present on the paper matters at the end of the day. Yes or no? So you have to give ample time. Think there. Read the question, read the context, read the task. Sometimes there are a lot of possibilities of mistaking the task. Like describe, when it is here in the above context, there is this person has been described in this way. So when you look at that word described, you will be feeling that okay, it's something about description I have to write. No. When you come to the end of the question, the above description talks about a personality of some person. Now imagine yourself in that person, in the place of that person, and imagine or consider yourself as the friend of that person. Develop a conversation. Now what is that you have to do? In the beginning you saw describe. In the end there is a conversation. The moment you see describe word, you will start describing. That gives you a wrong answer. Okay, so my suggestion here is read the task again and again, thrice. Why thrice? First, read to understand. Next, read to understand the question or the task. Then, follow the input. Read again what input has been given and what else you can add. What spice you can add to your expression. Then, start writing. Okay? Then, how to start? A well beginning is half done, they say, no? So, when you start anything, give a good introduction. Very outstanding introduction you have to. How to introduce? So, before talking about those areas, we'll first have a brief look of what discourses are mentioned. You know very well, for the last 5 years, you have been coming across a lot of discourses. So, here, from group A and group B, you have discourses in every textbook. You will come to know. Even when you see your 10th class textbook, you will have, if you have still want to have a revision of this, just go to this table. You have group A discourses, group B discourses. Okay. So, one from here and one from here will be given. So, here, this is up to you children. First, when you have internal choice, just make an intelligent guess. What is this intelligent guess? Both you know, description you know, and the other question, if it is a letter, you know. Both you are able to write. But what should be written? Then you should think about your ability of giving more words and more expressions. And also, at the same time, though you are well aware of the words and how to answer both the questions, you should also look at the format, and you should also consider the indicators. Every discourse has some indicators where you are definitely going to be awarded for those. Okay, so when you follow the indicators, you should see. Now, when you compare this description and letter writing, you have from address, to address, station, date, so many format indicators, format features are there. So, obviously, it is better for you to shift to letter writing in order to score more. But, here is a thing. You don't know what to put in the body of the letter. You are not sure. Though you know all the format, you are not sure whether you are able to give good body to the letter or not. Then, what is the advice we can give from here? Go for description when you are able to write more. So, this is you should be able to guess what best you can give when it comes to internal choice questions. Now, 5 marks questions. Most of my students, they simply don't write 5 marks questions. What is this, children? 5 marks directly you are getting, they are being poured onto your papers. See, hardly 1 or 2 marks for grammar and vocabulary will be deducted in case if you make mistakes. But for the entire format, for the entire features, indicators, there is compulsory that if you attempt, you are going to get 3 or 4 marks. See, now this reading creative expression part is directly helping you to get pass marks if you are a below average student, or to score more if you are an above average student. And if you give more vocabulary and spicy introduction and well conclusion, proper and appropriate conclusion, this creative expression is going to keep your paper stand out of all the things. So, you are, see, for all the sections of people, for all students, creative expression part is the area where guarantee of marks is given. Even, see, in grammar also, if you unless you are sure, you won't be getting correct one. In reading comprehension, when you are not able to comprehend properly, 1 or 2 marks are possible to be deducted. But when you completely, totally attempt creative expression part, there is a guarantee of getting at least for 20 marks, 15 marks are in your hands. Just see. So, all you have to do is practice well. What is to be practiced? So, when it comes to group B, biography, essay, report, letter, speech. So, in these areas, where, which is your comfort zone? Okay, we have to see whether you are able to write a biography. Biography is well practiced one right from 6th and 7th. Okay. Then letter writing, of course, like cakewalk. Okay. Next, speech. We all have been giving speeches in all our school functions. Okay, or listening to the speeches. Some good beginning and conclusion, of course, will fetch you marks. Okay. Then what is, so when it comes to report writing, there also, if you give 1 or 2 report when you read newspaper report, or give some 2 or 3 times practice, what is there, children? Just headline 1 mark, then first statement, same thing, what is there in headline? A little elaboration in first statement, a little more elaboration in the paragraph, and well, conclusion. Okay, so the same point, only one single idea is being divided into different things, where if you are eligible, or if you are able to give proper and appropriate words, one idea will fetch you 10 marks. See, these courses are very easy ones for you to help in your language exam. Okay, coming to group A discourses, whether it is choreography, whether it is narrations, story writing, script writing, conversation, interview, all are well practiced, and if you follow the indicators, okay, easily you are able to get the marks. So, what to do? Read again and again. Just go through, converse. Okay, practice them. Follow the indicators. That's the one suggestion I want to give here is always follow the indicators. When it comes to minor discourses, message, notice, diary, and also poster, invitation and profile. Message. Here one more thing children we have to keep in mind, where formal language has to be used, where informal language has to be used. Okay. So your teachers are guiding you. You must be practicing them vigorously, no, for the last 2.5 months with all the revision, with Abhyasa Deepika in your hands. Have you gone through your Abhyasa Deepika? So many indicators, so many practice questions are there. Okay. That will help you to be confident, to reach your examination hall with confidence. Okay. Anything comes out only through practice, children, only through practice. So go ask your teachers to help you, to identify your strengths and weaknesses, and tell your teachers what questions you can do. So it's not that I may write, one student may be able to write biography well, other student may be able to write only the letter. So the teachers guide them, how to draft any, or which is the easier one for the student. Okay. It's not that everyone can write the same. For example, if you feel you can give more words for description, description is the best one because you are able to give more adjectives. When you are confident enough to start to describe with more rich vocabulary, see, your presentation on the paper is a presentation to the evaluator. Okay. So when you quote, when you give some proverbs, when you quote some contemporary things in biography, in essay, or in your speech, okay, when you take the news, international and national news, okay, in your discourses, so that will really, pull the evaluator towards your paper, and don't ask, the marks will be just bombarded to your papers. Okay. So in this way, if you practice, children, and also slogans, there are many slogans given even in Abhyasa Deepika. Go through them. And we know the repeated topics, we know the most important topics or areas where generally essays, biographies are given. And when it comes to biography, children, here, there are words, connecting words, linking words, which if you feel for any low performer or low proficient learners, if you feel, just keep those words in your mind, like was born, awarded to, their parents' name or his parents' name was. Okay, these linkers, however, first, studied at, received. So these simple words, if you keep in your mind, you will be able to draft or weave the paragraphs with the given links. So these things, I suggest all the teachers, we are doing that. But once again, if we tell the students, even sometimes what happens, even the most brilliant child is vulnerable of making minute errors. So in order to make them confident, even the words which are suggested to low proficient learners, if they are suggested even to the above average students, they'll feel confident in cases where they feel shortage of time or a shortage of anything. If the thoughts are not cooperating to them in the examination, the easiest way of writing any discourse, if we suggest them, that will help them to score good. So creative expression part, children, is really has to be written, and don't forget and don't leave. What is happening is, in most of the cases, everyone is attempting reading comprehension answers. They are doing well in study skills. When it comes to discourses, they are attempting the major one, and the minor first part they are doing, and the second question they are leaving. 2 minor discourses definitely you have to write, children, and they will fetch you marks. Another important query from student side is, how much we have to write? Do we have any weighing machine there? How many, so many words or so many paragraphs? No. It demands, see the marks, children, see the marks and write the answer. For 3 marks, you are writing some 3 to 4 sentences. Okay. So for 10 marks, at least 5 paragraphs. minimum of 5 paragraphs. If you are well enough to bring all your knowledge and all your potential of vocabulary usage, we are ready to accept. Okay, so come on. Now this is the time where you have to boost your confidence and practice your creative expressions well, which fetch you a very good and outstanding score.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajeshwari, for your elaborative explanation. And children, I know you are practicing well, and discourse question is the question where you show your language skills. And please remember the outlines, the features of every discourse, and write in a good way to get a good score. We know that anyway you are practicing them, and English subject, English question paper, it takes much time to read, but answering you take less time. So concentrate on reading the question paper itself, or as we said, twice or thrice, and you will get, you have to concentrate writing on the discourses, a major part, and of course the remaining part takes less time. So we wish you all the best for your success. Thank you so much.